The footage shows a man grabbing a woman by the hair, throwing her to the floor and kicking her repeatedly even though she did not fight back. The man then grabbed her by the hair and pushed her into the toilet. On November 20, 2023, Kazakhstan was rocked by the horrific news of a woman being beaten to death inside a restaurant in the city of Almaty on November 8, 2023. The victim was not just any woman. She was Sultanat Nukhnova, the wife of former Kazakh economic minister Kwandyk Bishimbayev. And shockingly, the perpetrator was her own husband. This incident sparked a wave of protests about women's rights and protection in Kazakhstan. Sultanat Nukhnova was found in a terrible state. She was lying motionless on the floor in a pool of her own blood. Paramedics tried to save her, but unfortunately she died at the scene. The expert report showed that Sultanat had several abrasions and bruises on her face, eyelids, scalp, and behind her ears. She also had a small fracture on her nasal bone. The experts concluded that she was beaten in the head area about 12 to 13 times. It turned out that she had been beaten to death for about 8 hours by her own husband. Kwandyk Bishimbayev was born in the city of Kizilorda in 1980. He came from a very influential family. His father was the director of one of the most prestigious universities in Kazakhstan and was a friend of the former president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev. With such connections, Bishimbayev had very broad opportunities. He could be anything he wanted thanks to the influence of his family. In 1999, he graduated from Narksaz University in Almaty. And then in 2001, he completed his studies at Dulity University. In the same year, he earned a master's degree in business administration from the George Washington University in Washington, D.C., America. Bishimbayev began his career as a manager at the Development Bank of Kazakhstan and quickly climbed the career ladder. Every year, Bishimbayev was promoted. In 2007, Bishimbayev became Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade. Then in 2009, he became assistant to the then president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev. In 2010, he became Deputy Minister of Economic Development and Trade. And finally, in May 2016, he became Minister of Economy at the age of 36, making him the youngest minister in the Kazakh government. Like most politicians, Bishimbayev's record is not perfect. In a high-profile corruption trial in 2018, he and 22 others were found guilty of corruption and bribery while leading state-owned companies. Astana court sentenced him to 10 years in prison and banned him from public service for life. But justice is easy to buy. And thanks to a pardon from President Nursultan Nazarbayev, he was released in a short time after serving only 18 months. Sultanat Nukhnova was born in 1992 in Pavlodar, also comes from a wealthy family. Her parents are successful businessmen, and with their support, she continued her studies in England. It was revealed that Nukhnova is the niece of the former mayor of Pavlodar, Kairat Nukhanov. A source said she was very much loved by her friends and family. Nukhnova is described as a beautiful woman inside and out. If she cares about someone, she will be very loyal. Nukhnova is a very pleasant person, and there is almost nothing negative or unstable in her life. Nukhnova is really into astrological readings about destiny. She even attracts clients who want to have their fortunes or birth charts read. She usually offers paid astrology sessions on her Instagram page. Nukhnova makes a living from her small fortune-telling business and has gained quite a following on social media. That's how she first met Kwandyk Bishimbayev. On her social media page, Nukhnova wrote, "Golden husband, I never regret saying yes. I am ready to roll dough from morning to evening just for him." Looking at their happy wedding photos, we may wonder, why did Bishimbayev kill his wife so brutally? It's so sad. It turns out Nukhnova has been experiencing violence from Kwandyk Bishimbayev since they got married. She kept it to herself to maintain the appearance of a perfect life in front of the public. But everyone has their breaking point. Feeling heartbroken and desperate, Nukhnova sent a message to her brother named Aitbek Amanjaldi and told him about the violence she experienced. Nukhnova sent photos of her bruised face, 2 black eyes, and swollen lips, all the result of beatings from her husband. Nukhnova asked Aitbek Amanjaldi not to save the photos, delete the messages, and do nothing. But even though his sister asked him to be quiet, Aitbek Amanjaldi could not stand it. He went to Nukhanova's apartment to pick her up. The meeting ended in a big fight. After that, Aitbek Amanjaldi and Bishimbayev stopped talking, and Nukhnova herself reduced contact with her brother. Her brother tries to convince Nukhnova to go with him, but she chooses to stay with her husband to save their marriage. Aitbek Amanjaldi testified in the trial saying, "Let's go home. You don't need all this." But Nukhnova said that she is an independent adult and loves Bishimbayev. She even said that all this is her own fault. Other witnesses confirmed that the intimidation of Nukhnova was real. Her former assistant recalled seeing marks from a rope around Nukhanova's neck and severe bruises on her hands. They met at a coffee shop where Nukhnova described her husband, Bishimbayev, as a tyrant. Nukhnova had tried to kill her husband several times and had even rented an apartment a few months before the murder. The trial revealed that Nukhnova was afraid to leave Bishimbayev because he threatened her with intimate videos. Nukhnova told her friend Ida Akhmadina that Bishimbayev had manipulated her into making the video by promising to end the relationship with her afterwards. But then Bishimbayev used the video to control her and threatened to post it online. A human rights activist explained that in Kazakhstan, a woman's reputation is highly valued, and such a video would bring her severe pressure and criticism. Bishimbayev denied the threats, but said the video was on his phone and claimed it was private between husband and wife. News of the tragedy went viral, prompting the public to demand transparency in the case. Nukhanova's family also protested, demanding a thorough investigation without any possibility of bribery. Meanwhile, protests and criticisms of the law protecting women's rights are increasing because such cases are very common in Kazakhstan. The court then opened the investigation to the public. They decided to broadcast the court hearing online after selecting a jury for the case. The trial began on March 11, 2024, with Kwandaik Bishimbayev facing 2 counts of murder and causing physical and mental suffering. Since the first trial, Bishimbayev has pleaded not guilty to killing his wife. He also denied the charges of causing mental and physical suffering, claiming he never intended to kill Nukhnova because he loved her. According to Bishimbayev's confession, on the evening of November 8, 2023, he and Nukhnova attended a concert of a Russian singer at the Kazakhstan Central Concert Hall. During the concert, the couple had a fight. According to people close to Nukhnova, Bishimbayev was very jealous of his wife. He monitored her every move, her messages and calls. Bishimbayev's anger often exploded for no reason. This made the police wonder if his jealousy had something to do with the fight that night. Before the concert ended, the couple went to the Bishimbayev family's restaurant B.A.U., where their wedding celebration took place almost a year ago. It was there that Bishimbayev beat Nukhnova all night long. The restaurant's CCTV that night captured Bishimbayev and Nukhnova leaving the restaurant and talking in the hallway around 1 a.m. Both were under the influence of alcohol. Bishimbayev then approached Nukhnova and held her face as other guests passed by. Then at 3 a.m. there was a loud noise and the lights were shaking behind the closed door of VIP room number 1. At 6:56 a.m., CCTV showed Nukhnova and Bishimbayev coming out of VIP room number 1. Nukhnova was wearing Bishimbayev's jacket while holding clothes, but without wearing pants. At 7:16 a.m., the footage shows Bishimbayev grabbing Nukhanova's hair, throwing her to the floor and kicking her repeatedly even though she did not resist. Bishimbayev then grabbed Nukhnova by the hair and dragged her into the toilet. According to Bishimbayev's confession, in the toilet Nukhnova threw the jewelry given to her into the toilet. He explained that this act hurt his emotionally because the gift was given with love. But in court, the lawyer for the Nukhnova family presented evidence that the watch and bracelet were forcibly removed from Nukhanova's hands. Contrary to Bishimbayev's story, Bishimbayev then went out to get a drink, and when he returned he found Nukhnova had locked herself in one of the toilets. He took a tripod from a speaker and hit the door with it until it opened. Bishimbayev stated that Nukhnova attacked him first with her fists and took off the clothes she had bought him that morning and threw them at him. Feeling insulted, Bishimbayev slapped her several times. Bishimbayev claimed he only hit Nukhnova with his hand, but she fell several times, hitting tiles, walls, and toilet poles. Every time Nukhnova tried to get up, she failed because she was too drunk. Seeing this, Bishimbayev said he tried to help her up, grabbing her upper arm and pulling her up. But Nukhnova refused his help. She managed to walk a few steps before losing her balance and falling face down into the toilet bowl, resulting in fatal head injuries. But Bishimbayev's account is at odds with the forensic examination. They found only a small amount of alcohol in Nukhanova's blood and urine, indicating that she was not unconscious during the incident. They stated that a nasal fracture like Nukhanova's would require significant force, such as being hit on a toilet. The video shown in court showed Bishimbayev torturing his wife for about 8 hours. Bishimbayev was then seen dragging Nukhnova to a VIP area where there were no CCTV cameras. What happened there is unknown, but Nukhnova never came out alive. The time of Nukhanova's death could not be ascertained, but an autopsy revealed that she had a long and painful death due to brain trauma. The new medics were called at 7:55 p.m. on November 9, 2023, when Bishimbayev and his cousin Bakitsin Bazanov realized that Nukhnova was not breathing. This happened more than 12 hours after the beating. Bishimbayev was arrested the same day. Bishimbayev claimed that Nukhnova fell asleep and did not wake up. Instead of calling an ambulance, he contacted a psychic who assured him that Nukhnova would wake up soon. Then he instructed his cousin Bakitsin Bazanov to shut up the staff on duty there that night, delete the video footage that was later recovered by investigators, and take Nukhanova's phone home. Investigators believe this was an attempt to create a false alibi for Nukhnova. In addition, Bishimbayev contacted 2 women after beating his wife. One was a micro-influencer, Gulnara Nasir-Burkova, and the other was an unknown woman listed in his contacts as Julia Super. Bishimbayev sent a message to Julia Super, asking, "What are you doing? Are you free?" Gulnara even came to the BAU restaurant to meet Bishimbayev and spent about an hour and a half there, while Nukhnova was dying in the next room. At the trial, Bishimbayev blamed everything on Nukhnova for drinking too much. Bishimbayev asked for an open trial, believing that he could prove that the crime was not intentional. He also petitioned for jury selection in the hope of winning over the conservative section of society that upholds the concept of uyat, which condemns inappropriate behavior by women such as wearing short skirts, disobeying their husbands, or drinking alcohol. In court, Bishimbayev tried hard to portray Nukhnova as a woman suffering from addiction despite forensic evidence showing a low blood alcohol level. Bishimbayev also accused her of dating a married man before they were married in order to get money by exposing all his gifts. Bishimbayev tried to portray Nukhnova as a companion who was only interested in his money. He also claimed that Nukhnova suffered from a histrionic and unbalanced personality disorder. On April 22, 2024, an examination of Bishimbayev's cell phone revealed 12 videos containing footage of him beating, torturing, and insulting Nukhnova recorded on the day of her death. Finally, on May 13, 2024, Klondike Bishimbayev was sentenced to 24 years in prison for the murder and torture of his wife Sultanat Nukhnova, but of course there is still time for Bishimbayev's legal team to appeal, and it is possible that he will be released on parole before the 24-year sentence ends. His cousin Bakitsin Bazanov was sentenced to 4 years in prison for concealing and not reporting a crime. Klondike Bishimbayev's ex-wife Nazim Kaharman said the incident was a tragedy and offered condolences to the Nukhnova family. She was married to Bishimbayev for 14 years before divorcing in 2020. The government came under a lot of pressure from the public who asked for evidence that they were truly committed to their promises to prevent violence against women and children. This case prompted legislative action. In April 2024, the signing of a new law to criminalize domestic violence by President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. Around 400 women die in Kazakhstan each year as a result of domestic violence. Many complaints are ignored by law enforcement, and women are often asked to drop their complaints if they cannot prove it. Nukhanova's brother, Aitbek Amanjaldi, tried desperately to save Nukhnova from her marriage and is still fighting for justice in her murder. He also plays an active role in helping women victims of domestic violence to get protection and justice. Hopefully, Nukhanova's death will not be in vain. Her death has become a catalyst for reform to ensure that no other woman suffers the same fate as her in the future. That's all for this story. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and give your opinion about this case in the comments column. See you in the next video, and stay alert.